Hello everyone, I'm Dr. Tasneem Bano Rehman, Associate Professor at Sage University, Bhopal. Welcome you all again in the next video on design thinking, and today we'll be talking about ideation. So in this video, the content that I'll be covering is we'll get to know what is ideation, the goal of ideation, why to ideate, and a step-by-step guide for ideation. So let's get started. Ideation is the creative process of generating, developing, and communicating new ideas. In the 19th century, it was thought that creativity couldn't be taught. Today, we know that an individual creativity skill can be improved through practice. So, yes, creativity can be built up by doing practice. And since ideation is the second stage of the design thinking process, where design thinking team come up with ideas on how to solve a specific user problem. The design thinking process is majorly made up of the three phases: empathize, ideate, and prototype. I've already prepared a video and shared on empathize, and soon we'll be covering all these three. So the ideation phase of design thinking is guiding, it's usually guiding the user problems and, coming up with the solutions. So these user problems were defined during the empathize phase. Ideation is about the exploration and identification of potential solutions. So not all ideas will be viable solutions, but that's okay. You need to let the ideas come up. So the primary goal of ideation is to spark creativity and innovation. So what is the goal of ideation? Ideation gives designer the license to let their minds run wild, question the status quo, and look at the problems from different angles. It also helps designers to, collaborate and create a groundbreaking solution as a team. Ideation is a way to generate radical, progressive, revolutionary design alternatives. So when you are ideating, when you are, coming up with ideation, you need to be completely free, go wide. You don't need to restrict yourself. So the main goal of ideation is to explore a wide solution space. Come up with large number of ideas. Don't restrict it, and covering a broader diverse ideas of all the levels. Don't restrict. Now next is why ideate. Sometimes designers ask, what is the purpose of ideation? So the answer is that it marks the transition between understanding the problem that users have and then generating the solutions for those problems. So yeah, the problem should be well defined and then exploring and coming up with number of solutions. So ideation helps in harness the collective perspectives and strengths of your team, go beyond obvious solutions and drive innovation. Now I'll discuss the various steps that can help you in coming up with new ideas, innovative approaches in order to solve a specific problem. So the first step is define the problem. That means the problem or problems that were identified during the empathize phase of design thinking process will guide your ideation session. So your team will generate ideas that will solve these problems. Phrase the problem using prefix like how might we. Like, for example, if your team is solving the problem of poor user experience in an app, The question would be, how might we create an insightful user experience? So this phrasing focuses the ideation session while implying that there is a solution to the problem. Now, second is choose a space. The location of your ideation session has a huge effect on how safe and comfortable the team will feel. Choose a large room that has whiteboards or enough wall space for you to set up your own writing materials. It is a good idea to choose a space that is away from the environment where your team usually works in. Being in a new environment triggers creativity and alternative ways of thinking. Now, the next step is the time limit. Of course, there should be a restriction on a time. So, decide beforehand how long the ideation session for each problem is going to last. Set the number of ideas that the session should generate for each problem. These limits will give the session momentum and create a kind of energy which will spark even more creativity. The next is select the ideation technique. So there are several ideation techniques that you can use to help your team come up with the ideas. So the most common ones are the brainstorming, where verbally sharing ideas within the group members. Then there is a mind mapping, where visually ideating by starting with a keyword that is then related to the problem and then writing all the ideas associated with it around it. The next is the storyboarding. That's creating visual storylines of how user might go about solving the problem. So all these three techniques that I just told you, I'll come up with the videos, and it will be a very great help for you people to try and come up with the ideation process. Don't limit your ideation session to one technique. You are used to use you are free to use more than one technique. It is nothing like if you are going for a brainstorming, after brainstorming only you will conclude an idea. No, you can go ahead with a combinational approach, or you can try more than one technique. So this will ensure that your team generates the highest number of ideas. Next is the rank the ideas. If your ideation session has gone according to plan, you will end up with lots of ideas. Some will be promising, or others may be completely outrageous or crazy kind of ideas. So no issues. Together with the team members, sort the ideas according to different categories, such as promising idea or an interesting idea, unconventional idea, or some crazy idea. For each category, rank the ideas. Now, don't throw away any idea, as they might be useful in the future, or it may be useful in any other design project. And the last step is you need to choose the idea that will move to the prototyping stage, which is the next stage. So the end goal of the ideation in design thinking is to come up with ideas that can be prototyped and tested. Choose the idea that are going to be prototyped and maintain a record of those that didn't make the final cut. So these are the steps that can help in coming up with ideas and the techniques that we'll be talking in the coming videos. And that's it for this video. I hope ideation is clear. The goal of ideation and the step-by-step guide will help you in practicing the ideation phase of the design thinking. So thank you all and take care.